Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Lasham Daily Briefing for Saturday, the 11th of April, 2026. Starting off with the Synot picture. This is for 6 o'clock this morning. You can see here this fairly deep low with associated occlusions just off to the west of Ireland there. With that, we have stemming off it a fairly extensive cold front, which is passing through our area this morning. Bringing with it a bit of clouds, low clouds, wet and windy weather. But by midday today, you can see that has moved clearly, leaving behind a bit of a gap in the weather there, moderately slackening isobars, and this trough here approaching before more frontal activity in the coming days. That should leave a reasonably soarable period of quite pleasant weather and a nice unstable air mass. But the potential for quite strong gusty winds is significant. Okay, the sat pic, you can see evidence of the tail end of that front there moving through. Clear behind, or moderately clear behind for a period, but still got a reasonable way to go yet. And rain radar, worst of it actually going to the north. We have had a little bit of rain this morning, as you can see, but the bulk of it is further north towards Scotland. Odium, their observation this morning, 200 degrees, 11 knots with 10-kilometer visibility, overcast at 1,000 feet at the moment. Farnborough, they're tough today, 210 degrees, 10 knots. Visibility greater than 10 kilometers and broken at 2,200 feet. Earlier this morning between 8 and 10, 270 degrees, 10 knots of wind, and a prob 40 of reduced visibility and light rain this morning. Also, a prob 30 for mid-morning, broken at 900 feet. And then from about midday onwards, becoming 240, 16, gusting 27. So that's that stronger wind we were talking about there that may cause us one or two issues. Winds aloft to the south of us there, 240 degrees, 30 knots all the way up to 5,000 feet. And to the north, 230 degrees, 30 knots all the way up until 5,000 feet also. So fairly strong there at flying height. On the ground, should be more or less straight down the runway, albeit fairly brisk here, looking at windy, and moving down later into the day, coming a little bit more southwesterly and fairly strong. The local metals forecast showing strengths here initially, I beg your pardon, about 10 knots, increasing up towards 16 and 17 later in the day, gusting up towards 32 to 33 knots. So strengthening throughout the day, but skies clearing, some fairly pleasant weather, high UV, but that wind is going to be the major deciding factor. GFS showing a temperature in the warmest part of the day of around 9 or 10 degrees and a dew point there of about freezing. Okay, presently we are down to 7.6 degrees, and that's just as that evidence of that cold front arriving in the last hour or so. Dew point as well, reducing now at 4.5, and we had a stable 10 for the last few hours of the early hours of this morning. So the view on the south side looking to the west, you can see really quite unpleasant at the moment, but that is expected to clear within an hour or two, certainly by mid-morning. Leaving behind it a nice soarable air mass, which we can see here on the sky sight cross-section. Low clouds, poor weather to begin with, and beginning to lift at about 11 or 12 o'clock, and then a fairly soarable period from 2 until 5 there, the best of the day, and good either side as well, with cumulus up to 5,500, 6,000 feet at times. Obviously, the only concern there is the wind and the impact the wind is going to have on those thermals. Top meteo as well as 9 o'clock locals begin. You can see rain and drizzle here on the chart. Just running that through hour by hour. You can see the behind the front, nice soarable air mass coming through with some cumulus blue in places up to just under 2,000 meters. Moving through and remaining soarable for much of the day, bluing out towards sort of 4 or 5 o'clock as well. Nighttime-wise, nothing of great significance. It was just the transport of the mandatory zone up by Fairford, but nothing else. So we'll move to wider bookings. And we have two K21s for booked flying today, K21 on the casual list, and a K21 and a K13 for the youth group. We also have a K13 available for trial lessons. We'll go ahead given the wind, and there is some single-seater availability. Also, two on the casual list with one instructor required. So if anyone's around and fancies helping out, that would be greatly appreciated. Not expecting anything from 2XL this morning, and a reminder about the buoyant expedition. So in summary, we have low pressure to the west and a passing cold front, which we just looked at there on the charts. Rain and low clouds begin with clearing by mid-morning, leaving behind a soarable air mass, but strong gusty winds later in the day, which could be a limiting factor. We'll set up to operate runway 27 normal ops, cables on the north side due to a ground repair on the south side, and all air to south side of the centre line. Parachutes as well. We have the AGM this evening in the Brown Elephant, I believe, at 5 o'clock. So that's the AGM here at 5 o'clock. There's our on-field setup to finish, winching on the north side of the runway, gliders on the grass, everything south of the centre line, and any grid for whatever reason would also be on the north side. But we'd not expecting that, and if we did have to work around that with the cables, we will do so. That's all from me this morning. We'll see you out there shortly. Be a good day and keep it safe. Thank you.